we talk about an emotional wave through circumstances that took place during the whole pandemic time, and which is a boat that rocked a lot of people and not just myself. So basically the whole world, right? And I'm finding and navigating my way through it to coming back to the sense of alignment within myself into wealth mastery.
Hola a todos. Hi everyone. Welcome to MetaFit MetaMind podcast, a space where we leave taboo topics behind and dive into the interconnected worlds of physical and mental health and well-being. I am Carla Rodriguez, your host and trainer and coach of NLP and hypnosis, as we get on transformative conversations with leaders, entrepreneurs, and changemakers. Each episode is designed to inspire you to unlock barriers and embrace growth, mindfulness, and purpose in your life. Whether it's around mental health, wellness, or entrepreneurial journeys, we've got powerful insights just for you.
Being curious, being a lifelong learner, knowing just how to navigate and learning more.
And you need to tell the world that you are ready and manifest and visualize and become this version of yourself.
The real knowing of who I am has just begun. This was the light.
Like life is happening to me, but I am able to create the life that I want.
So subscribe now and follow the podcast to listen to these powerful stories and be part of this community of empowered individuals who are striving for greatness and legacy. Because remember, raise your voice, share your story. Make sure to connect with us on social media at MetaFit MetaMind Podcast, on my other page at Coach Carlita, and be part of our journey to inspire and uplift others. Hey everyone, welcome back to MetaFit MetaMind Podcast. I'm not going to lie, it took me a while to release some of these conversations because life can really just life you sometimes, right? But I'm so grateful that they're finally coming out because this one is such a beautiful reminder of growth and reflection and alignment. And as you can see, I'm actually not recording from my usual spot. I'm doing things and trying things a little bit different because I may have shared on social media that one of my goals that my husband and I have, one of our goals, is that we want to be traveling and doing things from a different place. So I'm practicing right now to also record from different places with different equipment. So I'm doing my best to still pick like different spots. I'm going to be picking some cool spots outdoors, right? Good spaces that you could still hear me clearly. So I really appreciate your patience and all the changes happening right now. And again, I'm so grateful that you're still here, that these episodes are coming out because like I said, this one's good. In this episode, I was joined with this amazing, beautiful, kind person, Rebeccah Steele. She's a wellness mentor, energy medicine practitioner who brings wisdom from her life across cultures, generations, and spiritual journeys. We actually had an incredible conversation on her podcast too, and I'll link that episode in the show notes. So definitely check it out after this one. I'm not going to waste too much of your time here because I just want you to listen to this episode. So let's get into this heartfelt episode with Rebeccah and let me know what you think at the end. Thank you so much for being here at MetaFit MetaMind Podcast. I am Carla Rodriguez, and I'm so excited to be back with another episode with another super amazing, awesome, magical guest. I was on her podcast not long ago, so I'll include that link in here of that podcast we did together because it was so much fun. Thank you so much for being here, Rebeccah.
Oh, thank you so much, Carla, for inviting me. I just feel that it's such a privilege and honor to lift each other up, you know, because it just spreads our messages even wider.
And it's like, what kind of other conversation can we have, right? When we continue to keep the connection and keep the like celebrations together and the collaborations. So I was grateful and am super grateful for you having me on your podcast. And now I'm excited for this one for people to learn who you are.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So because I want people to learn who you are, let me ask you this. Who is Rebeccah Steele?
Gosh, do you know, this is a great question that I feel comfortable answering now. And, you know, I'm 62 years old now, and I'm going to be 63 soon. And I'm like, oh my God, what does this mean? Where did the rest of my years go? And, I don't feel like, how you hear a lot of people say they're in their 60s or they're 63, where I used to hear, oh, I can't do this and
Yeah.
I'm not able to do this and that. And I can now, I feel that when I was with these people, in my 30s and 40s, hearing them say, oh, you do realize I'm in my 60s or 70s. And I used to say, yeah, but you've got a lot of, power within you,
Yeah.
so you don't, you, it's interesting. They didn't feel that power. They didn't, and I feel it's got a lot to do with our conditioning
For
that,
sure.
that took place from our childhood through our teens, through 20s, 30s, and beyond. And so the question, who is Rebeccah Steele? Who am I? Began with a journey. And, as most of our lives are filled with this, with
Yeah.
steps towards a journey, we don't realize we're on a journey,
Yeah.
when we're younger. We just keep doing, you just, it's kind of like the next bling thing, the
Yeah.
next shiny object.
For sure. Like,
Oh,
ooh,
I
what
want to
is
do
that?
this. Yeah, what is
Mhm.
that? So I would say that when I look back and look at who I am now,
Mhm.
I was always curious.
Yeah.
I was curious to explore. I was curious to expand my world.
For sure.
And that curiosity didn't always land me in the best places.
Yeah.
And and interestingly enough, with that curiosity came an intuition that it's time to step left or step right or go ahead, which required a lot of courage to do that, because you think, oh, I'm in this, and I could have easily at that time given in and felt discouraged and depressed and
Yeah.
all of that. And I find that anytime I'm backed into I feel that I have backed myself into a corner because of my choice.
Yeah.
I always look to ascend, like,
Yeah.
what's the quickest way out of here?
Yeah.
Right?
So you knowing that, okay, I want to ascend. What's the
Yeah.
quickest way out of here? Now I have to follow my intuition. What was that through this journey, that chapter or that part in your life that has brought you on this journey to where we are at today?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And I'll say that to begin with, I have 3 adult children now. They were, and my husband, they were my greatest teachers. They they weren't just my children, but they just with who they were being, it allowed me to think outside the box. Think in a way, like empathize also with them, like, wow, I can feel what they're going
Yeah.
through. And which then brought me to, I don't know if you follow human design.
A little bit, yeah. I've been
Yeah.
trying to live a little more by my design.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I go the opposite way. But yeah, learning
Yeah.
more about it because it's so important. It's so
It
key.
is.
Those of you who don't know what human design is, go back to a few episodes with one of my guests. I'm going to mention her real quick, Lindsay, and we talked about human design, and you can learn a little bit more about human design. But yeah, it's so powerful.
It is, because it just gives you a roadmap as to why we do the things we do. And it also gives you an opportunity it certainly gave me an opportunity to understand my, reactions or responses.
Yeah.
And I am an emotional, I respond to the emotional wave. So
Yeah.
I gotta wait. When I feel the feelings of people around me, I've just got to wait
Like wait to
to
respond.
wait to respond, because my strategy is to respond, right? And
Yeah.
with an emotional wave, I have to wait. I have to wait until the height to understand, first of all, whose emotion is this? And rather than what I used to do before I understood human design, was think that all those emotions were mine.
Yeah. Yeah, mine says my strategy is to respond as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other part of that is the frustration.
Yes, the not self.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Are you manifest?
no, I'm a generator.
Oh, okay. Full generator.
So the alchemist, I'm a 6'3". So basically,
I'm the opposite. I'm a 3-6.
you're wow. Wow.
I think this is why we vibe.
Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. I just, on a little tangent here, I wonder how many channels, how many gates and channels we complete for each other.
Right.
Because, I feel that it helped me understand, being a 6'3", the 3 is where you explore and be curious and understand what's on the outside. And then I bring it inside to gain wisdom from those experiences. And that kind of answers a bit of your question about ascending out of, like, okay, what do I want to explore and be curious about next? So you get to be, I feel I've got to be more selective, more discerning, in stopping for a bit and asking myself, is this what I really want to explore? Yeah.
Yeah. That's so interesting that you've discovered that. And so would you say that that journey that has brought you to here too started, or was like, did it start when your adult children, when they became adults, or would you say it was more when they made it to this world?
I feel that if every stage of their lives showed me what was a reflection of my own childhood, plus not only a reflection of my own childhood, but also an evolution of where, since my childhood, that the world has evolved to, because as my children grew, mobile phones became available. Well, we didn't have mobile phones back then, and there wasn't even TV, to for us to watch daily. I mean, that was because my parents were very, they were teachers. So,
So was entertainment like radio or?
No, entertainment was the numerous books that they got us to read and entertain ourselves with. And my mother loved gardening. And so, being outside when we could, when we were allowed to be away from our books, was great. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's so amazing. And then now, along this process, because we talk about intuition, we talk about, this reflection that is so key, because we can learn so much from these kids. Like even with my 18-month-old, I'm like, oh my God, like, how is this a reflection of me, or how is this reflecting on me? Because this kid, he's a projector. And so very different than me being a manifesting generator, right? And so, and y'all, whoever's listening to this or watching this, like, this doesn't mean this is you everything, but it is so like, it's a something that helps you learn so much about you even more, right? And so I'm trying to learn. Even this 18-month-old, there's so much that he's already showing that is fun, for one, because I'm a go with the flow person, but at the same time it's like, wow, how do I navigate this? There's no manual to parenthood, to motherhood, to feeling what they're feeling, or wanting to save them, but allowing them to learn along that process of their journey as well.
Yeah, that reminds me of a time when, as my kids grew up to be going into their teens, and my husband used to say to me, just let them explore. And I'm like, oh, I've got to be with them just in case anything happens.
Yeah. The
And
just in
yeah,
case.
just in case.
Yeah.
And, it took a while, a long while, for me to let go of that being cautious as a mother for their, you heard of from other parents, oh, what is it like out there in the world? And that added to the concern and worry and anxiety. And I think as I look back now, my children became those teachers because they accepted my caring to a certain extent. And on
Yeah.
another level, they pushed me away in a very kind and almost, like it wasn't through words or anything that they pushed me away, but it was I don't know, it was a sense of energy I felt. I felt, okay, it feels like they're good. It feels like they're good. So I tend to go into feelings
Yeah.
rather than, the words. And I think
Yeah.
like the words are part of the message, but the feelings are the biggest messenger for me. And interestingly enough, through just lately, because we've got to be online so much more,
Yeah.
it's like the question to myself was, am I going to feel the same way other people's, gestures and or things that they're not really saying? And
Yeah.
would you believe you can? It's so amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's so important, because I think there's this like disconnect that can happen when we are connecting with somebody online, right? And it's like, no, like you could still feel the person's words, or like, ask them, okay, you can literally ask them, how does, not how does that feel, but a question that will bring some feelings, so you can comprehend that feeling and connect with that feeling as well, since you're a feeling person. We talked a little bit about this on your podcast, right? How we communicate, and how everybody communicates in some manner, right? Whether kinesthetic, auditory, digital, or logical, or visual. And so because this is you, it makes so much sense that you follow that intuition and who you truly connect with, but also like the intuition with your kids, and you just intuitively knew, I think they're okay. I think they are, ready to be released into the world, like the moms, in the wild, they just let the birdies just fly, right? And it's just so wild to, no pun intended here with all this nature word talk, but it's so wild to like think about, okay, it's okay to follow that intuition. And so because this journey is so powerful, and you're here as this such, what is it, what did you say your human design is, that you said the name of it,
The the
You're
Generator
the
Alchemist.
alchemist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so you being the alchemist, right, of your life, the generator. Let me ask you that correlation between the mental and the physical health and also the spiritual, emotional health. How does that and how has that played out in your life along this journey?
Oh, wow. That is a powerful, deep, deep question. And I'll begin with my childhood when I remember looking up at the sky as we were, I was walking my family and I'm thinking, um, I feel that I've been born on the wrong planet, you know.
Mm,
Um, can can someone beam me up somewhere to where
yeah.
I would feel more at home? Because everything at that time felt scary for me,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
so that so I think that created that sense of being introverted,
Yeah.
like not wanting to explore too much. However, my true nature was to explore,
Yeah.
right? To
Yeah.
to be free,
Mm-hmm.
and so I had these push and pull.
Mm-hmm.
Do I explore or do I remain scared?
Mm-hmm.
And so that was kind of like the mental part of it, and going straight through to and the emotional, and going straight through to the spiritual. I um was always drawn, and when we went to visit my grandparents in
Mm-hmm.
India, because we were in my parents were teachers,
Mm-hmm.
expatriate teachers in Africa,
Mm-hmm.
helping with the schools there.
Wow.
And so we went to India every year, and I loved being with my grandparents. It's just amazing what you
Yeah.
can glean from them. And that was when my spiritual journey I would say, got established, because in India, my grandparents were Hindus. So before they got converted by the missionaries to Christians. And so I felt that there was something, and of course my parents brought us up as Christians.
Mm-hmm.
However, I felt there was something missing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would learn that missing part when we went back to India, and we would hear the early morning chants, that they would do in the temples, in the Hindu
Yeah.
temples. And I would it was like sweet. It was just
Yeah.
like someone had just placed sweetness all over me.
Oh,
And
that's so.
yeah,
There's so much feeling in that.
yeah, I just used to uh, be so alive as
Yeah.
a child, and growing up. Every
Mm-hmm.
time we went back to
Yeah.
the early morning chants, and then of course the color of the flowers that the women wore, and the colors of their clothing, their saris and
Yeah.
things like that. I felt like this is where the world is.
Yeah. This is where
Yeah,
I'm supposed to be at. It
yeah,
almost
and the,
sounds like, I don't mean to interrupt, but it almost sounds like, and you could tell me if I'm wrong here, but like there seemed to have been like, okay, I don't know that I belong here or that I'm not supposed to be here, like in this era or in this part of the world. And when you would go there, it's like you would find another piece of you that maybe you were not um aware of before. And so maybe along the process, you started to piece yourself together, even though you didn't know that you were in like parts. It
do you
seems like.
know, that is so intuitive of you to put it in that way, because um my mom was pregnant with me
Mm-hmm.
when she left India, her teaching post in India and her friends
Yeah.
to go to Africa with my dad, and she was like, you can imagine when everything in your culture, you get a culture shock. Basically, you land in a place where the foods are different,
Mm-hmm.
the life is different, there are no friends to speak of,
Yeah.
and so she was way out of her comfort zone. And I know that my mom used to, as a young woman, would love to watch all the processions that they did for celebrating, different times of the year in the Hindu tradition. And they're so colorful and musical, and she used to sit sit and watch all of this. And I feel that possibly that transferred over to me. And then, which was why when I went back to India,
Yeah.
I felt that I could put those parts
Yeah.
into me as well. Yeah.
That's so cool. Sometimes I've got it.
Yes. Yes.
That's
Sometimes I've got
amazing. That's so cool. And I think that's important to like really be aware of, because for one, what I've learned along this process, and when I certify my students, it's like one of our goals is to help the client or the student or the individual or even a friend or whoever to find those parts of you to make you into your whole person again, as long as it's within your values, right? Within what works for you. If some part of you is not within your value, you can choose to no longer make it yours, right? But it seems like because it's kind of cool, like you didn't know this, that you were missing parts of you. Your mom got pregnant when you were there. Y'all left as you were in the belly. And then you're like, oh, I'm leaving home without you knowing, right? You're in the belly. Then you're born and you're like, I thought, this unconscious baby, this unconscious being was like, this is a different place. And so you going back home, right? During that time, it's like, I'm here. Like, I'm finding myself. And I think that's so cool. And I think for a long time, I used to think that same way with my culture, my community, how I just felt so much more comfortable with my Spanish speakers, with, the culture, the dance and stuff. And it just felt so cool. And being able to do work around that, and also being okay that, hey, I was born here, I was created here, and I'm meant to be here. And it's like when I was able to align both, that both are me and I am both, like it just was like magical, because it no longer felt like, I'm not sure why I feel this way. It's like, I'm excited because I have these parts to me that now are mine and they are one whole of me.
That is so wonderful. I love the way you put it, because that, when to your first question, who is Rebeccah, who am I? That is where, the parts of me from the East combined with the parts of me from the West, because from Africa, my parents migrated to Australia. And so, which was another bit of culture shock again.
Yeah.
And
Y'all are earth beings.
yes. And it just made me realize how much of the Western part of the lifestyle we led. I led as a teenager and as a young woman growing up in Australia, that when it came time to, in India, they have a lot of this arranged marriages and things like that. And I remember my parents saying, oh, when you go to university, which is what I did, and after university, we'll go to India and we'll find you a suitable husband. And I said, what happens after that? Oh,
Mhm.
well, you will have children and you will have a house. And then what? I said, what happens after that?
Mhm.
Well, then you die. And
Yeah.
I was thinking, oh my God, what a boring way to.
Like,
It
this
was
is
like,
already planned.
this is already planned. And I said,
Yeah.
well, do you know, I said to my mom and dad, I'm happy to go to university and get the education and do what I need
Mhm.
to do, but I'm not happy to go and have an arranged marriage because, there's some, I'd heard some horror stories about
Yeah.
that, so
Yeah.
I wasn't going to go there. And
Mhm.
I said, no, I don't want to do that. And
Yeah.
so luckily, my parents being the way they were, they understood. They didn't push me to do anything, which, I feel that my parents feel for me the best parents I could have ever had,
Yeah.
because they were so, they were loving in their own way. And they also understood the type of environment that they were
Mhm.
bringing their children up into. And, and so that also helped shape me, because it helped me feel that I can adapt
Yeah. For
to
sure.
a situation. I can gain resilience like they did, to go and move from country to country and basically chase their dreams,
Yeah.
And so I think they wouldn't have said that they were chasing their dreams, because that's another thing, is that we don't realize that when I use the term ascending into the next level of our journey, that we're chasing our dreams.
Yeah.
We think that, oh, we use the good old, is this the right thing?
Mhm.
How do I feel about this? We go back into those
Yeah, these are
feelings
those
and
questions like,
emotions.
what is right? What is
Yeah,
wrong? Like,
yeah, yeah,
is this
yeah.
what everyone's doing? Should I be doing this?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And today the message is, whatever anyone's doing, go the other way.
Whatever works for you, right?
Yes, exactly. It's like,
Mhm.
I think for me, the biggest um, lesson for me has to be discerning, to use discernment, and and that's where the spiritual element comes in, because, you have meditation, breath practice, and all the different energy exercises
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
so popular. I would say popular today because a lot of people know about them.
Yeah.
And, it doesn't mean they always do them, but, that is the way I find to build that discernment.
Yeah. And let me ask you this, you building this discernment, going your own way, right? What is next for Rebecca, or for whatever you are doing? What are you excited about that's coming for you?
Oh gosh, do you know? That is a very good question, because I'm in the middle of a wave.
Mm.
If we talk about an emotional wave,
Yeah.
and through circumstances that took place during the whole pandemic time,
Mhm.
and which is a boat that rocked a lot of people,
Mhm.
and not just myself, so basically the whole world, right? And I'm finding and navigating my way through it to uh, aligning. So what I'm excited about is um, coming back to the sense of alignment within myself into wealth mastery,
Yeah.
because, we it's not about chasing the money, like when I was at university and finished my education, and you had to go out and work and you earned the money, and
Mm-hmm.
the money paid for this and that. Today, when we talk about money,
Mm-hmm.
we talk about how wealthy do you feel? How
Yeah.
prosperous do you feel? How abundant do you feel? And, because that's where the money is. Yeah. So that's what I'm excited about.
Cool.
And
Going through this wave.
going
Enjoy
through
that.
this
Enjoy
wave.
that wave.
Yeah. Yes. And it's a building of or like the ascending process into the next levels.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what will this look like? How do
Yeah.
I want it to look like? In what way can I structure this? Because then it comes down to the more practical elements, because like in terms of, I follow astrology a lot as
Mm-hmm.
well. And before the podcast, we were talking about the lunar eclipse, which,
Yeah.
which is, they call the blood moon. And a blood moon, I learned yesterday or a few days ago, is when the earth is also becomes part. So it's not just the sun and the moon. The earth is also is part of that eclipse. And so, the moon is actually quite beautiful, and
Yeah.
and it's a very powerful moon this time, because we are also, as I learned, in retrograde season of the
Mm-hmm.
planet. So meaning that, what do I love
Mm-hmm.
about what I'm doing? What don't what doesn't vibe with me anymore?
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
and it's about this is from the Venus retrograde, and Venus is all about what you love, and like following your dreams.
Yeah.
And
So definitely, what do you love?
yes, and then there's Mercury and
Mm-hmm.
in retrograde as well, and Mercury is all about communication.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Yeah.
how are you communicating what you love to yourself? And then Saturn is there. Saturn is a planet that says, okay, let's create structure around this.
Yeah.
And is it viable? Yeah.
Yeah. So what you love, the structure. What was the other part? Oh my God.
The communication.
The communicate. There's my
Yeah.
communication.
Yes. Communication is like,
Yeah.
if something isn't working, even though we're following the strategy and the response of
Mm-hmm.
communicating, then, and you find a door closed,
Yeah.
what does that mean? It's really interesting, because that was what the eclipse was about. It was, you slow down.
Mm-hmm.
You slow down, and instead of running to the door that you think, oh, I'm so excited about this, let me just get on as many podcasts as possible, or have as many guests as possible.
Yeah.
And promote my own work, like I'm doing in energy medicine with the biofeedback.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what would you say in Spanish dance? Like, you can go fast,
Mm-hmm.
or you can go slow.
Yeah.
It's like cha-cha your way through.
Slow.
Quick,
Slow.
slow. And enjoy the movement of,
Yes.
just the whole thing of doing something like a cha-cha and
Yeah.
twirling around, and
Yeah.
and
For sure. I love that.
listening to the beats of the drum, and
Mm-hmm.
or whatever musical instrument that you're drawn to,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's singing bowls or things like that, because it's like, when you're running down this path, but then you're slowing down, and you see the flowers pop up. you see, and you stop to admire, you stop to engage with your path, and then when it's the right time comes, the door opens to the opportunity or the excitement.
Yeah. So that's super cool. So it's everybody go back and listen to what she just said. It is so important, and like really take in that and allow that to integrate and see how you feel about it or whatever you think, and ask yourself those questions. What do I love? How am I communicating? And what's my structure right now, at least in this season at the moment? So yeah, I think that's essential. Like, and
Absolutely.
I think with you, like sometimes I'm like, okay, like I'm blown away by this conversation. Like, what else can we talk about, and all these things. But if somebody wanted to work with you, right, in the energy medicine and the biofeedback, where can they find you?
So the best place to find me, to find out about my work,
Mm-hmm.
is my website, which is www. Rebeccah, spelled Rebeccah, Steele, Steele, wellness, wellness.com. So that's
Perfect.
my website where you find features, including the podcasts as well, and a connection to me to work with me. You can email me, or I'm also on all the social media channels, Facebook as Rebeccah Steele, and Instagram at
Mm-hmm.
Mindset for Biz Mentor,
Mm-hmm.
or LinkedIn. So
Perfect.
I'm on all of those.
All links in the show notes. And I am super grateful to you, Rebeccah. And let me just ask one more thing. If somebody wanted to learn one thing from you, what would be the one piece of information that you would share with them?
That's a great way of asking that question. I love it. That, there is no one piece as such, but I feel the best piece that I would say to work with me is discernment, because we don't always know that this is the right person to work with.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to follow, like the messaging. That's why I really enjoy Instagram, because you get a feel for where is this person, how are they showing up, and and forget the algorithms and posting every day and showing, having a story every day. That's not what it's about. It's about how is this person showing up, and using discernment to know that this is a person I want to work with. Because I tell you, you are then a gift to the practitioner, and the practitioner sees you as the gift as well. So it's a win-win.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that and the discernment and all the wisdom. I'm super grateful that you are here with me sharing all of these amazing words. And so, yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I'm almost left speechless right now, knowing that communication is something that we all, of course, always want to work on. So thank you so much for being here, Rebeccah. I so appreciate you.
Same here. Thank you so much for having me. Bye for now.
So cool. That was such a grounding and soulful conversation with Rebeccah. There's two big lessons that really stood out for me. First is a reminder that every chapter in our lives, of our lives, the good, the uncertain, even the messy parts, it's all part of our journey of becoming this one whole again. So, as Rebeccah shared about rediscovering parts of herself through culture, motherhood, and intuition, it's such a powerful reflection that healing often looks like remembering who the heck you've always been, okay? The second thing is the importance of discernment. There's something she said about discernment. It's learning to pause, feel, and listen before we respond or rush into something, right? whether it's in our relationships, business, or spiritual path. That pause creates that space for clarity and alignment. So as you go through your week, ask yourself, like, where can I slow down and just trust my own intuition a little more? And if you love this conversation, make sure to follow Rebeccah, check out her podcast as well. And that's it for now. So make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're watching this. If you're listening, make sure to subscribe, follow us in any of the podcast platforms that you listen to so we can continue to have and get more listens. So thank you so much for listening up to this point or watching. My name is Carla Rodriguez. This is MetaFit MetaMind podcast, where we are having conversations that we would have never had before.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Remember, the conversations we have here are meant to spark growth, connection, and awareness that you can bring into your own journey. If you love this episode, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share with someone who needs to hear this message. Remember, follow the podcast on Instagram at MetaFit MetaMind Podcast. Connect with me on my other page at Coach Carlita, and now on TikTok at Coach Carlita as well, where I share different content on mindset, communication, health, and all the things a little more personal. Until next time, keep raising your voice and share your story.